Good evening. We're in for a late stream this evening. There we go. Test, test. It's a little louder. Up a little bit more. Test, 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 test. Maybe a little bit more. Hello, hello. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's pretty good. Yo, yo, yo. Hello, hello, hello. I don't know why my mic level changes all the time. Test, test. Hello, hello. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, we're in for a little bit of a late stream. I don't usually start streaming at midnight, but that seems to be the way it's going to be today. Let's see. I'm working on a short. Hey, what's up, Stefan? Long time no see, man. How are you? Stefan, a normal time stream. Yeah, I don't know. Midnight's kind of not normal at all, but that's where we landed today. My son had his 9th birthday today, and then I had to be in the office for part of the day, and yeah, just kind of all over the place. Test, 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 test. There we go. Yanlei. Hey, what's on up, Yanlei? How are you? Midnight streaming was crazy. Yeah, midnight streaming is crazy. Stefan, for me, it's 7:15. Great time for stream, in my opinion. I guess it's all the time zones. It's all in the eye of the beholder. Yeah, but I'm here. I don't know how long I'm here for, but I'm here for a bit. Sorry, I was writing a pinned message there for a second. I was kind of locked in. Tristan, hello, Tristan. Tristan, is it late for you? Are you in the U.S.? Big Nova, hello, Big Nova. What's up? Stefan, how's it been? Anything new? Life has been good, Stefan. I know it's been probably it's probably been 4 weeks since I've talked to you, maybe more. Damn, that's hot. It's also terrible coffee. This is this coffee that I'm drinking. It's decaf instant. It's the only decaf I had in my house. Oh, it's terrible. It's absolutely awful. But some coffee is better than no coffee, so that's what we're stuck with. Tristan, 12:18 here. I'm from Missouri. Oh, nice. That's where I'm from, Tristan. I grew up in Joplin, Missouri. I'm not sure where you are in Missouri. I'm guessing I'll know where you're at, though. I grew up in the south. Was that the southwest corner of the state? Yeah. But it is also 12:18 here. I'm in Kansas now, but we're close. Stefan, no. Yeah, it's awful, man. But yeah, it's going good. I mean, like, let's see. Since the last time I talked to you, Stefan, what's happened? I had some crazy stuff go on with my job where I thought I was going to move companies and I ended up not moving companies. That took about 2 or 3 weeks, kind of all consuming of my time. And then, so I didn't really do much streaming or much content creation, but that got all that sorted out. Let's see, my oldest turned 9. We start football practices tomorrow night. It's a second season of tackle football. I'm healthy. My wife's healthy. You know, everything's good. Tristan, Kirksville area. Oh, nice. Yeah, Kirksville. That's where Truman State is, right? Out of high school, that was yeah, Truman. Yeah, Truman State. That was actually in high school. There was Truman State was one of the only universities that actually recruited me to play football. Um, but they didn't offer a scholarship. They just wanted me to walk on. So I did not end up going to Truman State. Stefan, cool. It's nice here. Yeah, and what's going on with you, Stefan? Everything's well in your world? Got school worked out and all that? Man, this coffee burned the shit out of my tongue. Okay, so again, I don't normally stream this late at night, so I don't know honestly how late I'm gonna go. But my plan is tonight is just to hack a little bit more on that project from yesterday. And so if you weren't here yesterday, I started hacking on a little console app that basically does what you see in this diagram. And so I'm just going to kind of pick up where I left off there. Big Nova Dev. Everyone thinks it's impressive that I do software engineering and game development at the age of 16, but to me, it's just another developer. Is it really that impressive? Well, yeah, I think anybody developing a craft that early is impressive, right? Whether it's software engineering or game development. I mean, it could be plumbing, welding, carpentry, right? So, not a ton of people at 16 are dedicating themselves to something like that. I mean, well, I mean, when I was 16, the most important thing to me was football and baseball. In high school, that's about the only things I cared about. Um, I wanted to get good grades so I could play sports. I wanted to hang out with my girlfriend, and I wanted to lift weights, and I wanted to be great at the sports I played. Those were kind of my obsessions. But I think it's great for everybody to have something they are super passionate about, regardless of their age. Henry, please reply to my genius. What? I have no idea what you're talking about. Stefan, yeah, going great. I figured out people working on faculty are just like a bunch of grown up kids who don't know what they're doing. Gym is going great. I've been sick for like a week. Now I'm fine. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're on the mend. Also, I'm glad you're making it to the gym. And what you said about what you said about your faculty, like, yeah, there's not really any adults. There's just a bunch of grown up kids in the world. So that is a very accurate statement. I will second that. Henry, stop ignoring my spam. I just want a funny reaction for my amusement. Okay, Henry. Well, we're gonna see you later, Henry. We're not interested in what you have to offer. uh, bye bye, Henry. Bye bye, Henry. See ya. Nayan Saba. Hello, Nayan Saba. Sorry if I butchered your first name. The mispronunciation of names in my streams is a Steven problem and not a you problem. But I do really care that I say it right. It's just if I mess it up, I'm sorry. As you can see, my first name is spelled kind of odd, so I've spent my whole life with people mispronouncing my first name. So I have a lot of empathy for for others in their first name. Okay, so the one update I do have on this project is something I said yesterday was that I wanted to try to do this as cheaply as possible. And so I'm basically trying to not use any paid APIs, right? So I was basically trying to do this all locally. And the Whisper, using the local Whisper model works great. However, um, using a local LLM has gone terrible. So I tried last night to use Llama 3.1. I tried the 7 billion and the 80 billion parameter model. Both of them didn't work. They basically didn't follow my prompt. Like they basically just like they seem to almost get overwhelmed by the size of the prompt, and then they just return a summary of my transcription instead of actually a structured analysis. So the next model up from Llama, the next version of Llama is a 405 billion parameter model, but that takes 243 gigabytes. So yeah, I don't think using a local model is going to be feasible for this. So I actually think I'm going to switch over and try to use the Gemini API and see if I can get it to work with that. I know it should work with that. But yeah, my dream of having a completely local solution has gone out the window. Big Nova, what's your opinion on most developers are introverts? Um, I honestly don't know. I have such a small sampling of developers that I've worked with. I would say most of the developers I work with are pretty introverted. Um, but yeah, I mean, the world's such a big place, right? There's such a spectrum. So it's hard. It would be hard for me to make a very unanimous, like a very like sweeping statement. Big Nova, I myself am pretty shy. Don't like big crowds of people. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I've gone to this conference. I went to this conference last year, and I'm getting ready to go to it again here in Kansas City called Kansas City Developer Conference. I know, what a name. Um, but there's hundreds of people there, and like my experience last year was there was a lot of friendly people who were interested in talking. You know, but I'm sure there was a lot of people there too who were kind of gun shy. So I don't know. Any profession is going to be a spectrum of humanity. You're going to have your introverts, you're going to have your extroverts. Alexander, use DevStraw. Don't use Olama. DevStraw. I've never heard of DevStraw. You think that's a better model? Let's see. Olama models. What'd you call it? Oh, there we go. The best open source model for coding agents? Well, Alexander, you can totally use a local model. I don't think you know what we're trying to accomplish, Alexander, because it doesn't have anything to do with coding. I'm not trying to use a local LLM to write code. So like the fact that I don't need an agentic LLM for software engineering. So, I mean, I appreciate the suggestion, but I don't think that's going to help us for what we're trying to accomplish. Dinesh, hi. Hello, Dinesh. How are you doing? Lunatrax. Hello, Lunatrax. Website site? What do you mean? Dinesh, create. What do you want me to do, Dinesh? You want me to create you a website? Is that what you're asking for? Riff and game. I feel like that tire just because it's more working on your own and learning and can lead to disconnection. I feel like that tire. I don't know what we're talking about, riff and game. Tristan, when is that conf? I hadn't heard of it. Oh, yeah, it's great. They've been doing it for a lot of years. It's August 13th. It's usually in August, thereabouts, kind of towards the end of summer. Kansas City Developer Conference. Yep, here you go. So it's the 13th, the 13th of, sorry, the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th. The 13th is basically a full day of workshops. So like if you want to go deep on something, and then the main part of the conference is the 14th and 15th. Yeah, I'll send the link over in the chat in case you're interested. It's a little pricey now that we're so close to the date, but if not this year, maybe you can make it next year. It was a lot of fun last year, and I'm assuming it's going to be a lot of fun this year. They've got some good speakers too, like people you would know. Last year, Tim Corey was there. Let me see. I can pull up the list of speakers. Let's see. We'll zip through here, but there's some pretty well known, at least to me, well known software people like Dev Agarwal. I think that's how you say his name. I see his content a lot on X. Corey House will be there. Jimmy Bogard from the .NET world. Jimmy Bogard will be there. He's always gives really good talks and has great YouTube content. Richard Campbell, if you're in the .NET world, Richard Campbell, he hosts a podcast called .NET Rocks, which is pretty great. His talks usually are standing room only, like they're very 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 well attended. But in any event, Tristan, if you can make it next year or this year, it'd be awesome to have you in Kansas City. Be cool to meet you. Yeah, Tim Corey was there last year. I don't know if he's there this year, but yeah, he was there last year. Alexander, it's still fine. Yeah, I mean, we could try it. I mean, I'm not opposed to trying, Alexander, so we can give it a try. Let me plug it into our script here and see how it goes. And we just need to make sure we pull it first, don't we? Actually, before we put it here, we can just use it in Postman. So let's go. What is it? Olama pull. How big is this? 14 gigs, so it'll take a minute to download here. But we'll give it a go. I mean, I would love to get this working with purely an all local resources. I don't know if it's my hardware or if it's my model choice or what, but my prompt doesn't work with any of the Llama models. Stefan, what is this Blue Sky thing? Is it some sort of X replacement? Yeah, Blue Sky is it's like alternative to X. It's built on a little bit different technology. It's built on kind of an interesting technology, like a kind of an open protocol for social platforms. It's called the app protocol. It's pretty interesting. But after my account on X got suspended, I just started using Blue Sky more than X. Keyshawn, unusual time live? Yes, it is unusual. So I was saying this earlier. My day was kind of out of sorts. So my oldest son had his 9th birthday today. So that was the whole thing. And then I was in the office all day for most of the day. So when I got home, I spent most of the evening with my family and then hung out with my wife and then the night just kind of got away from me, and then here I am at 12:30 a.m. streaming. Duck D, hello Duck D's, how are you, man? Doing well. Thanks for stopping by. Isa Beal, source code. I'm not sure what you mean. Breaking good. Using Klein with VS Code. No, this is NeoVim. Is NeoVim in PowerShell on a Windows machine. Breaking good. Also, nice username. Stefan, suspended. What did you say? So this is the most bizarre thing about my. So I did make a new X account, so I do have a new profile. Let's see. Where's my new profile? Yeah, so I do have a new profile. I just don't use it that much. But my original profile, it got. Let me see. Let me see if I can log in here real quick to that one. For some reason, it got suspended because they were saying that I was doing account suspension evasion. That's what they were accusing me of. And I literally, I mean, I've never done that. And I've tried to appeal it like 1,000 times, and nothing ever comes of it. So I just kind of gave up and moved on with my life. Yeah, see. Here's the message that pops up whenever I sign in. Your account is suspended. After careful review, we determined your account broke the X rules. Your account is permanently in read-only mode, which means you can't post, repost, like, or comment. If you think we got this wrong, you can submit an appeal. I've submitted an appeal. Like I said, I've submitted an appeal like 100 times, and nothing ever happens. So, I decided I'm moving on from X. Okay, so we got DevStroll downloaded here. And now we're going to give this a go in Postman. I know this is kind of hard for you guys to see with Postman. But basically I have my prompt here. It's got the transcript. It's a big old prompt. So let's change my model to DevStroll latest, and then we're just going to let that run. It'll take a minute here, but it should run. We'll see if it's any better. What I'm expecting is I'm expecting to get a response that has a structured JSON response, and Olama has failed me, so we'll see if Alexander is correct. Stefan, by the way, I'm so grateful for you going back to NeoVim. I've been using NeoVim and VS Code. I've been, depending on the day, depending what I'm working on, kind of been jumping around. Keyshawn, did you able to build model from scratch? So you're talking about the other thing we've been working on. When you're talking about building the model from scratch, I think you're talking about the build a large language book that I was working on a couple streams ago. I haven't come back to it. So I think where we left that off was I had trained my GPT model a little bit, and I think we were at the point where we were going to try to load in some open source weights into the model. So that's where I left off on that. I'll pick it back up at some point. Breaking good. What are you building right now? So we're going to try to build, let me see if I can find my Scala draw here. We're trying to build this. So it's basically going to be a tool that takes an MP4 of a previous live stream and chops it up into clips that I can use for short content. That's essentially what we're building. And right now it's just a console app, but I think after I get a console version of it working, I think I'm going to build some sort of GUI around it. Keyshawn, same happened with my Facebook account. I lost all my child. Oh, dude, that sucks. That really sucks, man. I'm really sorry. That's like, yeah, Facebook shouldn't block you out from getting those photos. That's really shitty. Remix 40? Morgue. I have no idea what you're referring to there, Morgue. Man, this thing's taking a long time to run inference. I wonder how many per... it's 14 gigabytes in size. Oh, it's 24 billion parameters, so it's a pretty beefy model. It's like in between Llama 7B and 80B. Keyshawn, use Chatbox. It's GUI to run an LLM. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Postman works just fine though for now with what I'm doing. Shivanshu? What tech stack are you going to use? So I'm just using C# at the moment. I'm just going to build a little C# console app, and then I'll have kind of a C#, I have a C# class library. So I'm basically going to build the prototype in the console app. Then I'm going to extract the guts of the thing into a library. And then I'll more than likely add another project, which will be like a Blazor server app that I'll put a GUI around it. But there'll be some shared code between the console app and the Blazor app. That's the plan at the moment. That could change, you know. We never know. Marin, I hope you are using CLI bot. I've never heard of CLI bot. What's that from? Shivanshu, perfect and understand language C#. I love it. Yeah, C# is wonderful. It's my favorite language. Marin, bro, manual coding is dead. Marin, get the fuck out of here. Seriously. Get the fuck out. Go hang out with Dario Amodei and all the people who think AI is going to replace developers. Like, that is such AI hype, bro. Bullshit. Like, it's ridiculous, man. Crazy take. Breaking good. How you are convert viral clips from video stream using AI? I don't have any idea on C#. So basically, the basic steps are: we take in the MP4, we extract the audio using FFmpeg. We chunk up the audio into small, into basically smaller chunks of audio. We convert that we then give that to Whisper, which is a open source model from OpenAI for speech recognition. And we have Whisper transcribe all those chunks of audio. Then we take the transcriptions and stitch them all back together. And then the transcription is what we send to the LLM to basically have the LLM do essentially what amounts to a sentiment analysis, to basically say, you know, look at this transcript and do your best to figure out what parts of it might make for good clips based on a criteria that I define in the prompt. And then right now what it's doing is I'm trying to get it to send me back an analysis in a structured format that I can then parse and use FFmpeg to chop up that stream into the requisite clips that the LLM gives back. Marin Stefan, we have same name or whatever. It is a hunting satire. Just look at what happened recently with vibe coding, manual coding for the win. Yeah, I'm okay with people who want to use AI. I'm okay with people who believe that who want to use AI to code. I'm totally fine with that. And I totally believe that AI can make you more productive, and that I use Copilot. Like, I'm not against AI or using AI tools to code. I have a problem with people like Marin, though, that say manual coding's dead, that it's the end of the developer. That I I just think that's so overblown. Sujal, it's dead only if you're working on some small projects. How will AI replace scaling complex? Yeah, again, Sujal, you point out like how many vibe coders, how many people are making content building with AI who are working in like 10-year-old code bases to implement features. Like most people, most people that are demonstrating the usability of AI are demonstrating it in greenfield projects, right? Like very small, less than probably 10,000 lines of code greenfield projects. So I'm not bullish, I'm not bearish, I'm in the middle, but I take issue with people who are on one end of the spectrum or the other. Trust Wells, not gonna lie, I'm impressed you're using C# without Visual Studio. I'm way too used to it now. I feel like using Vim would force me to learn the language more. Visual Studio is a work of art, man. I mean, I think using NeoVim for C# projects that are small like this is probably fine. You know, a single project, a couple projects, but if you're if you're in a solution with like 88 projects in it that have different target frameworks and all kinds of complexities, like Visual Studio is probably the right tool for the job in that case. Noku, Riplet's AI deleted one user's entire database, acknowledging that it had panicked, willingly ignored safety mechanisms and orders issued to it, and just went ahead. Manual coding is nowhere dead. I saw that thread on X. That is a wild story. People think making landing pages is the only thing developers can do. Yeah, I can tell you from firsthand. Like, I work with an incredible team of developers at work, and we work on a very old legacy code base, right? And we are constantly iterating on it and advancing it. But it like I bet I could give some of the JavaScript in it to somebody who says they're a JavaScript developer and they wouldn't know what the hell it looks like. I mean, it's jQuery code. It's yeah, like yeah, it just totally agree. Not like the majority of developers are not vibe coding greenfield projects all day. Hunting satire. How did you develop these skills, man? Putting in the time and the reps. I started seriously learning how to code spring of 2021, and I've probably spent anywhere between 1 to 4 hours writing code every day since then. Like here it is, it's 12:47 at night, and I'm sitting down to write some code. So it's just reps and it's time, it's effort, man. That's all it is. And if you need a place to start though, I always recommend Free Code Camp. So I'll put that link in the chat there for you. Free Code Camp's a great place to start. See you, Steven. Have fun at work. Hunting satire. Yeah, I got bad attention issues being an IT student and having heaps of exams. AI actually helps me heaps. Yeah, man, I say I don't think there's anything wrong with leveraging AI. I take issue with people who run around claiming the sky is falling for developers because AI is here. You too, Stefan. Have a nice day, man. Breaking good. Have you tried on crypto side programming? I have not done anything with cryptography or cryptocurrency beyond beyond hashing passwords or encrypting and decrypting data. I haven't done much on the crypto side. Hunting satire. Cheers, man. Yeah, cheers to you too. Like I just use it to help explain and summarize. Yeah, it's wonderful for that. I use Gemini all the time. Like if I have if I have an idea for something, but I'm kind of thinking like I'm not really sure what the right implementation of it would look like, but I kind of want to see how somebody might implement it. I'll ask Gemini. I'll be like, "Hey, Gemini, here's the idea I have. Here's the tech stack I want to use. What do you think this would look like?" And yeah, it's great for helping you go from kind of 0 to 1, right? It's great for solving that blank page problem, right? You sit down to write something, it's an empty white piece of paper, right? And it can really help you get started, which I love. Nikhil, what you doing? Well, I'm supposed to be writing some code, but I'm doing a whole heck of a lot of jabbering at chat at the moment. If you're curious what the code is about, we're trying to build a tool that basically does this, and we have it working. And right now we're trying to see if we can use a local LLM to do basically the sentiment analysis on our transcript for this thing, and it's just not working. I've tried several different versions of Llama, and then somebody in chat told me to use this model, and it's still not working. You can kind of see it's like it gets overwhelmed by the size of the prompt, and instead of following my instructions, it just summarizes the prompt, and that's not what I want. So we're not gonna do the local model. We're not gonna do a local LLM. We're just gonna use Gemini's API, and maybe we revisit the local LLM again in the future. But I really want to get this working to some extent. So let's remove this guy. You're gone. All right, so we're gonna have to change our code here for making this API request, but Monty said hi. Hello, Monty. How are you? Ika? I have no idea what you said there, Ika. Hunting satire. Like, throughout our evolution, we always had a tool to help us make our lives easier. Prehistoric was flint tools. Then you look in the industrial evolution of using machines. And now in the day and age of AI. You're right. You're 100% right. And so technology will continue to shape our lives, for the remainder of humanity, right? For the remainder of our time on this earth, changing technologies will shape our lives. But you listed a perfect example where, 20 years ago, they said that all manual labor would eventually be replaced by robots, right? We were going to automate all manufacturing. I've worked in manufacturing plants. I've developed products that have gone into manufacturing plants. I can tell you, automating stuff in the real world is hard. And so it tends to be that the existing way of doing things has a very long tail, right? Even if AI is going to replace all developers, it's not going to happen in 5 years, right? There's going to be a very long tail to people building software in the way that it's always been built, right? So when people make wild ass claims like, in 5 years all developers will be out of a job, or in 5 years all new code will be written by LLMs, I just think they grossly overestimate or grossly underestimate how slow things actually change. Breaking. Good. If there's 2-hour football match video based on crowd sound noise, we can take before and after 30 seconds. Technically, that will be goal highlights. Is this possible to do? I honestly don't know. Somebody told me yesterday that there are machine learning models that can do speech activity detection or something. So maybe I don't know if Whisper, like transcribing that video, would be a way to do that. I think you'd probably have to go about that in a different way, right? Because the real trick there is identifying the crowd noise and then giving yourself that 30-second buffer. So that's the part that I'm fuzzy about. I don't know how you would identify the crowd noise, right? But maybe you could get away with it with Whisper. I don't know. You'd have to try. But definitely it would be feasible to programmatically cut 2 hour or cut clips from a 2 hour video. It's just figuring out what parts to cut. That would be the the interesting bits. Michael, you slowly but all at once. What do you mean slowly? Are you talking about the AI thing? Michael, it takes time, but once all the big brand companies adopt it, software engineering will become, I'm assuming you said absolute, but I'm assuming you're saying obsolete. And I just disagree, man. It's just, I mean, if it reaches a point of being obsolete, we're talking 20, 30 years, right? At which point I won't give a shit. And you know, I've said this before. I don't really care if AI, if I'm proven wrong, and in 5 years, AI does replace all engineers and all developers. That's fine. I'll get another job. I'll figure out a new skill set, and I'll still write code for fun. I've changed careers already 4 times in my life, and I'm 32 years old, so I'm not scared of changing careers and learning new skills. I didn't go to school for software engineering. I learned it myself. I didn't go to school to be a personal trainer. I learned how to do that myself. I got a degree in biochemistry and I became a food scientist. Like, I'll change careers as many times as I have to. Whatever it takes to provide for my family, that's what I'll do. Um, but if I had to put money on it, software engineering doesn't reach obsolete status until I'm ready to wrap up my working career. Mishala Gora, I think that's how you say your first name. Mishala. Sorry if I'm butchering that. How can I learn PowerShell the best way? Um, that's a tough one. I don't know PowerShell super well, to be quite honest. Um, the scripting I have done in I use PowerShell mostly on the command line. The scripting I've done in PowerShell has been very minimal, and I basically just Google or Chat GPT to figure out what I need to do to write the script the way I want it. So I don't have good advice for you there. If I had to guess, there's probably some free YouTube courses, maybe a Coursera course. Pluralsight probably offers something, but I'm sure you can find some sort of some sort of free education for PowerShell. Breaking Good. Did you participate in real life hackathons? I have not done an in real life hackathon. I've done some online hackathons. I've done two online hackathons. They were fun, but no in real life ones. Rahul Moore. Until question mark. What are you referring to, Rahul? I don't know what you're talking about. Mishala Gora. Then what goals of PowerShell can I make as a beginner? Well, PowerShell primarily is going to be used for like scripting, and I see it used a lot in IT settings to automate kind of infrastructure level tasks. I don't see it being used a lot to build like applications, but I could be wrong, but I don't see it a ton used for that. So I don't know. Like the last PowerShell script I wrote was, well, I guess the last PowerShell script I wrote was to monitor. Well, it didn't really monitor a file. Yeah, I guess the last PowerShell script I wrote, basically it ran a loop that just ran git commands to figure out how many lines of code I had written since I started the script. That was a PowerShell project I wrote recently. And in the last PowerShell script before that was to automate collecting test coverage for a really big .NET solution. So I don't know. I guess your goal with PowerShell should be to solve a problem you have. Like, is there some problem in your life that you could automate with a script, and then try to accomplish that in PowerShell? That's probably my advice. Is like, the more you can solve your own problems, the better. On Mall Sing, what are you creating? Well, I haven't really written any code yet tonight, but the thing that I'm working on trying to create is basically a tool that takes my live streams and breaks them up into small clips that I can possibly use for short videos. Rahul, jobs as software engineer with this AI era. What do you think about how much time we have till they take over our jobs? I think there's a super long tail. I think there's like, I'm not totally convinced that they do take over all the jobs. That I'm not really convinced about. I am convinced that companies are going to drive developers to use AI tools more and more, whether you want to or care to. It seems like companies are leaning on developers very heavily to use agentic tools. So what are you going to do, right? You're an employee. You got to do what your job and what the market says, right? So you gotta figure that out. But yeah, I think even if AI does take over your job, I think you have a long tail. I think you've got another 10, 15, 20 years, in my opinion. And granted, I could be proven totally wrong, but you got to think of how big the world is, right? And all the corners of the world, and all the varying levels of sophistication that exist out there in the development space, in the software engineering space. So I don't know. I'm bearish on it happening as quickly as people like Dario Amodei says it's going to happen. Which, if you guys don't know, Dario Amodei is the CEO of Anthropic. But that's one random guy on the internet who lives in Kansas, right? So I could be proven wrong. It's just that's where my mind is at the moment. Jackson, what language is this? This is C#. AI will probably not take over jobs anytime soon because ChatGPT can barely code Lua. Yeah, I mean, the models rule at writing Python code, right? But yeah, there's other languages not so much. I mean, I guess probably what someone in that field would say is, well, just give us more time and we'll get more data, and then it'll be better at writing Lua, which might be true. I just think there's more to software engineering. There's more to being a developer than just typing code, right? Than generating code. There's more to that job. And so I don't know. Everyone's got an opinion, right? Okay, so what did I say I was going to do? I'm going to use the Gemini API to do the sentiment analysis. So I need to get an API key, which I hate doing on stream. I hate working with API keys on stream, but what are you going to do? So we're going to need to add some packages here. CD. What's the we need to add there's a package in .NET that lets us do a configuration builder package. I think it's like hosting. Yeah, it's Microsoft.extensions.configuration, I think is. We'll say .NET add package. I've been streaming for like almost an hour, and this is the first time I've written any code. Okay, so we'll say config equals new configuration builder, and we need a using for that. Whoops. Like that. And then I need another package for the JSON extension. Which is this guy. There we go. Okay, so then we just need to create that app settings folder. App settings, we'll do app settings.json. And for the moment, we're just going to keep this really simple. We're just going to have Gemini API key, and we'll put that right there. And obviously, I'll do this off stream so I don't leak my key, or do the best not to leak my key. It makes me so nervous working with API keys on stream. And then down here, where we're currently making our call to Ollama, we need to swap this out for a call to the Gemini API. So we'll say var API key equals config Gemini API key, and we'll say if, let's just throw an exception. This is all currently, I should also say, this this tool is currently one single C# file. I am going to refactor it out of that. It's just, we basically wrote this in like 3 hours, 3 cumulative hours of hacking. So we have a little bit of a ways to go before we have like a fully fleshed out app. Rahul, the strange thing is how Satya Nadella is so confident about it. He said in 5 years, 5-year, 12-year guy code better than today's professional. Yeah, I don't know, man. I do think, yeah, I don't know. I think the thing you have to remember with people like Satya Nadella, who's obviously an incredible businessman, right? Incredible manager, incredible leader, right? He's had quite the storied professional career. But yeah, just like super intelligent individual. Dario Amadeus as well, right? I think the thing you have to remember is those guys have a lot of money. They have billions of dollars invested into this technology. So they sort of have a fiduciary obligation to their shareholders to make sure that people think that this is the next great thing, right? So I think sometimes we have to remind ourselves and be mindful that while I'm sure these people have good intentions, there are some incentives at play, right? There is a reason why these guys would go and do press and try to make sure that they push the AI narrative. Like they stand to gain in a big way. And some of them, it's existential, right? So like you look at OpenAI or Anthropic, those guys are burning money. Like the prices that they're charging for their models, their APIs, there's no way that reflects profitability. So yeah, I just think as an individual, you got to kind of take things with a grain of salt to some extent. Tazah Talim for Quran said hi. Hello, Tazah. Jackson, are you using Visual Studio Code by itself, or are you using other things like Unity? I am currently using NeoVim. I do use Visual Studio. I kind of go back and forth between those two editors. I don't do anything with Unity at the moment. Never have. Game development has never really grabbed me or interested me at this point in my career. I do like Visual Studio. It's usually, I only really use Visual Studio for work-related stuff at this point. And And then sometimes I use, there's a JetBrains writer called, there's a JetBrains IDE called Writer that I like, that I use sometimes for C# stuff. Islam Edge. Is it JavaScript? No, this is C#. Theo, I like the fact you're using C#. Not a lot of people are aware you can use it for AI. Yeah, I mean, the stuff that I'm doing, there's not the only stuff I'm doing AI related in it at the moment is I'm using existing models, right? Like I'm making API calls out to Gemini's API, and I'm also using a library that has like C# bindings for interacting with Whisper to do transcription. So there's an existing .NET package for that. But yeah, C#'s great. Sick stuff. But what are these key shorts that you keep hitting? I need to X3 my productivity. I think you're talking about shorts. I guess what I'm talking about. I guess what I mean is the shorts is clips that I might post to my YouTube channel. I think is what you're talking about. Chirag. Which text editor is this? This is Neovim. This is Neovim at the moment. Where was I? Oh yeah. Okay. So I've got to I've got to get an API key. One second. And then I also have to figure out how to make a request. Get API key. Create API key. Just do the default. Copy. All right. Let me try to do this without leaking my key. Okay. So I set that. So we should, the other thing I need to do is I need to go into my short, or not my short, into my I need to do what is it when you want to copy something as part of your copy app settings? Yeah, it's content, right? It's so we'll do item group. And then we want to do content and see if Copilot can finish this for me. Content. Oh, it would help if I knew how to type XML, right? Wouldn't it? Okay, cool. So now we're copying the output, the app settings file as part of our build. So now let's go back to program and let's actually try to build our call here. So this is going to look different than what we have here. We need to change our URL. God, why is Google's thing so long? Jesus. Let's just do flashlight. And we will get our URL. Our URL looks like this. Sorry, I'm doing some stuff off screen at the moment because I'm trying to avoid leaking. Okay. So this is what our URL is going to be. Var request URL is going to be this guy. And we need to replace these variables with the actual model name, which is Gemini 2.5-flash-light. And then the endpoint stream generate content. Yeah, and then we need the API key here, huh? API key. And then we need to put that here. Why is that complaining? Oh, yeah, need a semi. And then we just need to replace this URL with the proper one. Like that. And then we need to build our body. Rudy B. Moore. Hello, I just subscribed to your channel. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Ball took his rocks, took his sediments. What the heck are you talking about, Ball? Goku, cool guy. What programming language is this? This is C#. Also, nice username, Goku. Jackson, do you have anything for someone trying to learn C#? I can code Python, pretty much anything visual, but C# is a lot more complicated than those. I don't think it's more complicated. It's just it's statically typed, right? It's not dynamic. It's not interpreted. It's statically typed and it's compiled. So it's a little bit different. But if you know Python, you can learn C#. Free Code Camp actually has a course for C#. It's actually a partnership between Free Code Camp and Microsoft. It's a free foundational C# certification. I think if you're brand new to C#, it's a great place to start. It'll take you through all kind of the basic syntax of the language. It'll talk you through the difference of like pass by value and pass by reference. It'll take you through the difference between value types and reference types in C#, which is kind of an important thing to be aware of. What else? It'll have you build a couple small little projects. So that would be a great place to start, is Free Code Camp's C# certification. It's partly done on Free Code Camp's website, and then part of it's done on the Microsoft Learn website. But it's good stuff. Modern C#, modern.NET is very, very enjoyable to work with, in my opinion. Amon, what are you trying to build? Amon, we are trying to build a small tool that will hopefully make my life a little easier as a content creator. So what the tool will do is it will, right now, it will take an MP4 file of one of my previous streams. It will extract the audio, split the audio up. It will use Whisper to transcribe that audio. Then it will stitch the transcripts together, send that over to an LLM, and it will say, hey, given this transcript that has text and timestamps, give me segments that would make for good, possibly good shorts content based on some criteria in my prompt. Then the LLM gives that analysis back, and then I use that analysis with FFmpeg to chop that stream MP4 up into smaller MP4s that I can use for shorts content. So that's the end goal. We have a rough working prototype, and now we're just kind of refining it, and then we're going to refactor it into like a proper console app, a proper CLI tool. Jackson, okay, thank you. Yeah, of course, Jackson. That's a great place to start. Pluralsight has lots of great content. If you like videos, if you like video content, Tim Corey on YouTube, Nick Chapas, I think is how you say his name. Nick Chapas on YouTube has good C# content. What else? I mean, that you can go to the .NET YouTube channel, and they've got tons of stuff. So it's kind of sky's the limit there. Shark Zoo, are you using C++? I'm using C#. So I've never written any C++ or any C. So those would be foreign to me at this point. Also, I need to change this. I don't want stream, I just want generate content. So this I need to change. Okay. And then we need to structure this in a way that it expects. So where did it go? All right, so this actually looks like this. So we have to have a content, and that is a new array of some objects that look like this. Yeah, it looks exactly like that. Let's see. Can I just do... Why is this complaining? That's why. Because we're in C#, not TypeScript. Okay, so we have our role of user, we have our prompt going in the text field, and I think that should get us a response. Now the response is not at all going to be okay, we're going to need to comment all this out for a second. And we just want to print the response. Just so we can see it. Console.WriteLine, response content. All right, let's give this a go. So this is going to take... All right, so if we do .NET run, oh, I'm in the wrong directory. All right, let's see how this goes. Okay, it's running. So what it's doing right now is it is basically extracting the audio, it's transcribing the audio with Whisper, and then we should make a request to the Gemini API, and we should see a response be print out from the Gemini API here in the console. And then we'll know we've got it working. DWASH, what kind of dev and languages we're starting in 2025 for long-term job prospect plus good salary for a beginner? So I think DWASH, yeah, I guess the way you ask that question, it makes me think that you're concerned about starting learning to code or starting to pursue development as a career likely because of the whole AI hype cycle that's happening right now. I personally wouldn't be worried about that. I mean, obviously you need to learn AI, but I don't think you should be concerned about picking the wrong field. I think if you want to be a web developer, be a web developer. You want to be a game developer, be a game developer. You want to do embedded systems, do embedded systems. I think the important part for a beginner is to just start somewhere, right? Start learning, start trying to build projects, pick up at least one language, and just see if you even like doing development. See if you even like coding. Like, I'm coding at 1:25 a.m. in the morning because I enjoy it. No one's paying me to do this, right? So I think first and foremost is make sure you enjoy it. So pick up JavaScript, pick up Python, try C#, right? TypeScript, whatever it is, and just see if you enjoy the activity. Jackson. Also, will this be on GitHub? I'm starting my channel in November or December. Nice, very cool. Yes, go for it, man. Start a channel. This will be on GitHub. I haven't. I think it's already on GitHub. Right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's already on GitHub. Let me see. Yeah, it's on. Oh, it's just private, so I just need to make it public. One sec, I'll make it public. But it's on GitHub. Change visibility. Yes. There we go. Yeah, so it's public. It's on my GitHub. Obviously, there's not much to it at the moment, but there will be. Is this Vim? This is NeoVim, is what I'm coding in at the moment. Sam, last thing I will do in my life is coding. I hate coding. Okay, fair enough, Sam. It's an utter bullshit. Coding has no connection with real life. Oh, Sam's coming hot. What bullshit coding, you human-made computers and now spending years to understand computers' language. It's utter nonsense. Sam, you have some strong feelings. And you're allowed to have those feelings, man. Jackson, we are in the same time zone right now. Nice. Yeah, I'm in the central time zone. I'm in Kansas. Adela Chris, thoughts on pirate software public code? I've seen people making content about pirate software and about his code. I've never built a game, so I don't think I have much to offer in terms of whether his code is good or not. I've also not reviewed it. I think I've always enjoyed pirate software and enjoyed his content. I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting that people are trying to build brands and their own content off of shitting on him and his content, right? They're basically trying to build their brands by tearing his down, which I think is interesting. It's not really what I would do or how I would roll, but to each his own. No, cool. Would you prefer Linux, Mac, or Windows for devs? So, I primarily develop on a Windows machine. Most of my experience coding has been on a Windows machine. Let's see, Gemini API key is not configured in it. Oh. Well, that's an interesting error. App settings.json. Is it getting built? Let's see. I'm taking this off screen because I don't want to leak my API key. Let's see. Is it getting included? No, it's not getting included in the build. Let's clear out the bin. Let's clear out the object. What the heck? I've made NeoVim angry. One sec. I realized I was in the middle of answering that question and I just got distracted, but let's see, remove obj .NET build. Yeah, it's not copying my app settings file. All right, let's try this again. .NET build. There we go. Okay, now it's copying. Okay, so we're gonna try to rerun. We're gonna try to rerun it again. And then I can go back to what I was talking about. Let's see. Where we go? Oh, we were talking about for development, what operating system. So all my time learning how to code and how to build has primarily been on a Windows machine. For the longest time, I was a Mac user until recently. MacBooks, well, until I got married and had kids, then it was really difficult to justify spending that amount of money on new computers. So I primarily started buying Windows machines. That's why I started learning to code on Windows machines. I don't have like anything against Linux, Mac, right? It's just Windows is what I'm comfortable with. It's what I've been using. I use Linux pretty often. I have several VPSs that run Ubuntu. I have WSL here on my Windows machine. So yeah, no, not really a preference, but right now I use Windows. Abdul Mumin. For me, I started using AI. I don't know how to write a line of code, but I have developed many projects using AI. So the question is, are companies out there looking for vibe coder? Maybe. I don't know. I think you'd have a tough time getting a job if you just walked in and was like, I vibe code. Especially in an enterprise setting. I think that would be a tough sell. But you could try. Adela, Sam's uncle just left his bedroom. Ignore his emotional response right now. Yeah, Sam is really, why using all these keywords? Why not use human-friendly language? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Sam. I think I'm going to hide Sam from the channel. Sam seems to have an agenda. Bye-bye, Sam. I appreciate you guys going to battle against Sam there. I don't know what Sam came in here hot. Adela gets views. Some of it is legit though. Yeah, I mean, I guess Adela, that's where like I'm not trying to really pass judgment on like if you should hate on pirate software, you should not hate on pirate software. Like I'm sure there are things. I mean, there's things about everyone, right, that are kind of like I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but there's lots of people I interact with every day that I think I don't know about that, right? I'm just I guess one of those people that you know, if pirate software does something you don't like, move on with your life, right? Like find somebody else that you want to watch or interact with. Um, but I mean, it gets the views, right? I mean, in my opinion, the reason people do that is because it gets views. He's a huge streamer with a huge audience, and so okay, here's our response. Let's see if it gave me. I think it did what I asked it to do. The problem is that it stuck the JSON in a code block. So and that's not going to work. So I'm going to need to do a little bit extra prompting to get it not to do that. But let's go ahead and copy this. And we'll just go over to like a, excuse me, we'll get ourselves a JSON formatter here. We'll stick that in there. Let's see, format and beautify. Yeah, so you can see it tried to give me what I asked for. So let's take everything from the array to here. And real quick, let's just do a little hack here. We'll say json.parse and give it that guy. There's a bunch of unescaped characters in this JSON. Well, let's just have a... I know this is so silly. I'm going to have an LLM fix up this... let's see. Can you extract the valid JSON from this? There we go. Okay, so it did do what I asked it. It gave it back in the right format with the timestamps. It gave an explanation and a description. So this is exactly what I want. This is exactly what I want it to do. This is not what I couldn't get Llama to do it locally. So I think I'm just going to rely on the Gemini API for now. And let's see. Let's clear that. Let's switch our model. Let's switch our model from flashlight to just flash and see if it does what I want it to do. This is the joy of working with AI, right? Which word calculator am I going to use, and what are the right words I need to put into the word calculator to get the response I want? All right, now I'll let that run. Vaz says Sam's a bum. Your mom. Nice username, dude. Yo, your mom. What was he saying? He was basically just like raging on about like how dumb coding and writing programs is, which, I mean, you're definitely entitled to that opinion. I don't think you need to spam 50 chat messages to to express it. Hello, Modepe, I think. Modepe is how you say that? I don't know. Look it up. Based on Oh My Posh. This is Oh My Posh. Yep. I'm using PowerShell, and the way I customize it is with Oh My Posh, which if you're a ZSH user on Linux or Mac, it's very similar to Oh My ZSH. Jackson, bye-bye, Sam. Hope that your 50-year-old uncle goes back in his 3x5 closet because you are in a 5x5 room right next to it. Jackson, I'm gonna go doom scroll some more now. See ya. See you, Jackson. Thanks for hanging out, man. Hope you have a good day. Excuse me. That was a big yawn. The transcription does take a little bit of time. It takes about 2 minutes to transcribe a 2-hour video, an hour, 2-hour video. So that's what we're waiting on here. Also, I don't know how much longer I'm going to make it. It's almost 2 a.m. and I have to be at work in the morning. PanCon3. Can I make a living freelancing as a web dev? Well, I've never done any freelancing myself. I'm guessing it's possible because there are people in the world who do it. I would imagine the hardest part about it is getting started, like any business. When I was a personal trainer, which is kind of like being a freelancer, but for helping people with their fitness. The hardest part was getting started, was building that initial set of clients. But once you have your first, 5-10 clients, you're pretty much good because those 5 or 10 clients will typically refer you to 5 or 10 more, and then those 5 or 10 will refer you. So once you build up your book, it's much easier, right? It's always going to be, in that type of work, it's always going to be a rat race, right? You're always going to be hustling for the next project. So if you don't like that type of scenario, like maybe freelancing isn't for you, because you're going to have to be very involved from a business, from a marketing, from a sales perspective, like selling your services, marketing your services. But yeah, I think the hardest part in anything like that is getting started, right? But once you start doing good work for people and people can start referring you and showing off what you've done for them, I think it gets a little easier then. All right, this is better, but it's still putting it in Markdown. Okay, so I just need to put some prompting around it, I guess. Tell it, hey, don't put it in Markdown. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to use a different prompt. I have a prompt that I've been using that I think is probably a little better suited for this. Hold on. Where'd it go? I'm just going to copy and paste this. Copy. Paste. Also, I'm not going to leave this prompt in my source code, by the way. Like, if you're wondering, like, God dang, why are you doing that? How do I escape curly brackets? Can't remember. C# string literal escape curly brace. Okay. Do I need to double up on these? God, I cannot remember how to do this. C#, triple quotes, JSON, and string. Oh, it's $2 signs? Okay. And then what I do, double brackets to interpolate. Okay, there we go. That'll work. Oompa Loompa. What do you use transcribe? I'm using Whisper. I'm using Whisper. OpenAI's Whisper is what I'm using. The tiny English version of that model. Latest gamer, can you make ChatGPT 6.9 for us? No, I cannot. Pank on 3 things. Yeah, of course, man. I don't know how helpful that was, but that's my opinion. Platypus gamer, DYM, he just ghosted me, bro. Ragu, what's up, homie? Nothing much, man. I'm back. My For You page sucked. Well, Jackson, welcome back. What type of projects? I have to build in Java language and advanced Java to get a job. I don't know what type of projects you should build. I don't really know much about Java, but you can pretty much build anything in Java, right? Websites, console apps. So yeah, pick something, have at it. Yusuf, WSL and Tmux? No, this is NeoVim in PowerShell on Windows. Yusuf said, that's just sad. No, it's not sad. It's wonderful. It's a very fun and enjoyable experience, man. All right, let's go back to light. And let's try one more time. I think this prompt might give me better results. Jackson, Yusuf, please get the crap. Yeah, I'm not that type of person where I'm not really into the editor wars. I'm not really into the operating system wars. I say use the tools you enjoy, use the tools you like. All are welcome. You want to use Linux? Use Linux. You want to use NeoVim? Use NeoVim. You want to use Emacs? Use Emacs. You want to live your entire life in Visual Studio? Go for it, Yusuf, I also use NeoVim. Yeah, NeoVim's been fun. I kind of bounce back and forth at the moment between NeoVim and VS Code. And occasionally I open Visual Studio when I really need to. No one knows. Can I get your dot files for NeoVim on Windows? Yeah, so if you type, I'll type it for you. If you type !NeoVim in the chat, Nightbot should hook you up with my configs. They're my GitHub. I have a GitHub repo with those configs in there. Yo, what project you working on? This is actually just a small little. Right now, it's just a small console app that's gonna save me some time creating content. So it's basically gonna let me take a live stream and convert it into some smaller clips that I can post as shorts. Which right now I do this, like I post shorts from my streams, but it's all manual. So you can imagine it's kind of tedious, like scrolling through an hour or 2 hour long stream trying to find trying to remember like good moments from the stream. So I'm trying to automate that a little bit. Ragurok, do you have a LinkedIn account? Yes, I do. So if you type !LinkedIn, Nightbot will hook you up with my LinkedIn profile, and you're welcome to go over there and connect with me, or if you just want to creep on my resume and see kind of my work history, have at it. I know for me personally, whenever I find a creator, I always want to know, like, well, what do they do for work and how long have they done it? It always helps to add some context. Sick. I heard from some YouTube short that if you upload clips from Twitch directly onto YouTube, it gets less views. Oh, interesting. Well, I don't stream on Twitch. I stream on YouTube, so I guess I don't have to worry about that. I'm back. My For You page just pulled up Skibbity Toilet. I need to reset my cookies. Yes, you do. You need to reset them indeed. God, this decaf coffee is horrible, but hopefully I'll be able to get off this stream and go to bed still. I'm proud of myself for resisting making a cup of actual caffeinated coffee at 2 a.m. in the morning. And it still put it in there. Let's real quick, for the sake of testing, let's not transcribe every single segment. Let's just transcribe like 2 of them so I can iterate a little faster on the prompt. Remember, only only respond with the JSON array of objects. I think actually the Gemini API actually might have a, I think it has a structured format, like mode that you can put it on. I love that I have to like yell at the LLM. Remember, don't do it. All right, let's try this again. It should go a little faster this time since we're only transcribing two segments. Sohail, hello, fellow programmer. Hello, how are you, Sohail? Hey man, I actually have a question. Do you have a plugin or something that to select from the terminal history? Yeah, this is PS Readline. So if you, I don't know if you use PowerShell, but I'm PowerShell. There's a I don't know what you call it, a module or a commandlet called PS Readline that lets you do history like that. So he'll love this live stream. Well, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad you came and hung out with us, and I'm glad you left a chat and said hello. Appreciate it. All right, I thought this was going to take a little... Did I not write that out? I hope I wrote that out. Yusuf, thanks. Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, I actually stole... If you type... you can actually type exclamation point PWSH, and Nightbot will hook you up with a link to my PowerShell profile, and oh, it looks like it gets cut off, but it's my PowerShell profile. Let me fix that. So this is basically my PowerShell profile. PowerShell profile. And then this is the theme I use for Oh My Posh. If you want to dig into the nitty gritty there. Oh shit, it still did it. It's still, what the fuck? Huh. I wonder if it's just the models is too dumb to figure it out. Or I wonder if... I'll try it one more time. I'm guessing it's the fact that I'm putting... I'm guessing that the fact that I'm putting this like big blob of text right here in the prompt, it's probably tripping the model up. Models don't do really well with like, they pay attention to really well to the first bits of your prompt and the last bits of your prompt, but not so much to the middle. I'm wondering maybe if I send it as a file, if it would work better. I think Gemini lets you use yeah, they do. You can use let's see, document, uploading PDFs using the file API, pass. I don't really need a PDF. I just need to send like a base 64 encoded text file. I mean, the results are definitely better than what I was getting using Ollama. They're just not exactly what I want. So I might need to explore that a little bit. Yep. It's still wrapping it. This isn't a big problem, but like I don't want it to be wrapped in this markdown. What if I do this? So what if I delete that? And what if I come down here and I say generate config equals new object And what if I say, what is it, response meme type, which is basically the way the Gemini API forces the model to respond with JSON? JSON? How do you say it? Let's see what happens if we do that. I know this is very thrilling content. It's just me trying to be a prompt engineer, but this is the last piece of the puzzle I need to fix. I need to basically make sure that I can consistently get back this well-structured response in order to parse it and then use it to create the clips. Sohail, I'm sorry Nightbot gave you the spam hammer there. Sorry about that. Meet, hello, I have 2 questions. Would you like to answer? I new to programming. Sure, Meet. I'm happy to answer, man. I might not be able to answer them, but I'm happy to try. Let's see. Cannot find field. Invalid JSON payload. Received unknown name. Generate config at contents. Let's see. Did I not put that in the right place? Yep, I did not put that in the right place. This needs to be at the top level. Needs to be here. Try that again. Keanu Dally, would you rather watch a tree grow or a knee grow, bro? I don't know. I don't think either. Neither of those sound particularly interesting. Oh shit, it's 2 a.m. Okay, well, I don't know if I streamed an hour and 45 minutes longer than I should have probably streamed this evening. And I didn't really accomplish a whole lot, but I did get to talk to chat, which was good. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I'm interested to see if this structured output actually works. Let's see. Invalid JSON payload received. Unknown name. Generate config. Cannot find field. What the fuck? That's what it. I mean, it shows me a code snippet. Oh, it's not generate config. It's generation. So it helps if you spell things correctly. This is why copying and pasting is sometimes actually helpful, huh? Yeah. I'll try again here. Martian coders, dude, do you have a neat setup with Cursor and Claude CLI? I do not. I use NeoVim and I use Copilot for my tab completion, right? So that's Copilot trying to complete stuff for me. And then mostly I use Copilot and Gemini, just like their chat apps. So Copilot has a browser-based chat interface, and then I also use Gemini quite a bit. So these are the 2 tools I pay for. I pay for Copilot, it's $10 a month, and then Gemini pays $20 a month. And those are the two tools I use. I do use VS Code. I use Copilot and agent mode in VS Code sometimes, primarily for like writing documentation and adding comments to my code. But I don't do a ton of vibe coding myself. Like I don't really have much of an agentic editor workflow. Okay, that worked much better. So that worked much better. Well, let's see. We'll use Gemini right now. Turn this into valid JSON. So it looks like it gave me back 4 potential. Yep, this is exactly what I want. So now I just need to extract that from this JSON. So let's do that real quick. So let's uncomment all this code. And then the LLM analysis can stay the same, but the LLM response needs to change. So what's the structure of the response? So we have an object that has a candidates, and the candidates is an array of objects. Those objects have a content property, and then they have a parts property with a text. So let's just very quickly model this. So we'll say candidates, and we'll say candidate, candidates array. Then we'll declare a new record here. Records are a really nice thing in newer versions of C#. They're basically value objects that perform equality based on actual value equality, not reference equality. They also have this nice aspect to them where they're immutable by default. So I use records a lot in C# whenever I'm creating objects that purely are just kind of holders of data. I think records are really nice in that particular use case. And then we'll do record part, and that does have a text property, right? Yeah, parts, and then a text property of text, like that. Someone's angry about a trailing quote. And then we'll come up here. And so, yeah, we'll deserialize to an LLM response. And then what we want to do here is we need to basically get var. I think we just want the candidates text. So at this point we basically want yeah, we want that. Candidates text. So let's see now. So now we should be able to go end to end here with our solution. So if my deserialization works correctly, we should be able to now produce some shorts content. So let's see. There won't be any output anymore if this works properly. The only thing we should see, let's see, if we open up another terminal window, we go over here, we should see some video files get created once this thing completes. So right now you don't see any, but here in a minute we should see some MP4 files show up in this directory. Let's see. Do you think you would be able to code C# for my game? Probably not. I don't know much Unity. I don't know anything about Unity. I can definitely write C#, but I don't know anything about writing C# for Unity, and I'm guessing that's a little bit different of a domain. It is fine if you don't. It is not paid, though, if you do. Yeah, I'm probably not going to do it if it's not paid. Let's see. We had a deserialization issue. The input does not contain any JSON tokens. Expected input to start with a valid JSON token when is final block is true. Well, why did that happen, huh? Candidates content parts. Oh, because we missed we missed a piece of the hierarchy there. So it should go candidates, content, parts, text. Candidates. So we go candidates first candidate, get the content. Then for that content, get the parts and get the first part text. Let's go back here. So we get the first candidate, then we get the content, then the parts. I mean, look at the structure of this response. This is just uglier than sin. We have to do candidates. And you can imagine if there was more than one parts or more than one candidates, right? This is just ugly as hell. This is ugly. But this is what we're given, so that's what we have to work with. Alright, let's give it another shot here. See if we fixed our deserialization issue. Ashika, bro, what are you building? This is a small tool to create shorts from my live streams. Jackson being hyped about being #1. See you, Jackson. Have a nice evening, man. Invron. Hello, Invron. Alright, regardless if this works or not, I think this is going to have to be the final test run. Because it's 2:15 a.m. in the morning. And I have to be awake in probably 4 to 6 hours to go to work. Okay, it didn't blow up. So it did print out the response, obviously. So let's look at let's look here. We should have some MP4 files now. Yep, look. So let's open this in Explorer. So there you go. So if we open, let's play Part-Time Streamer Life. Although I quite literally am a streamer. There we go. So that's what this tool is going to do. So now that we have the API that we're going to use Gemini for now. We're going to abstract that away so that we can probably swap out providers if we want. But we basically have a full working prototype now. So let's delete those. Let's go back to NeoVim for a second. Let's remove do we want to remove? We don't. I don't need to print the response content anymore. And what was that thing to change? Yeah, I don't want to just do 2 segments. I want to do all the segments. Okay, so now we're at a point here where you can kind of see this is all in one file. This is all in one C# file. This is ugly. This is not how you should. This is not how you should build things. But this was basically my attempt at getting a prototype working. So now we're kind of back where we were last night, where we just now need to refactor this into a proper CLI app. So what we'll do is we'll add Spectre Console. We'll start pulling out some of this logic into other classes, and yeah, we'll pretty up the CLI interface. We'll add some command line parsing, some argument parsing, some options, that sort of thing. And yeah, we'll take her away. There's going to have to be a little bit of configuration now that we have to provide an API key, so we will have to figure that out. We'll have to have some sort of configuration, or maybe we prompt the user for the API key on the command line. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. That is a future Steven problem, though. Let's make sure my app settings file doesn't get committed. Yep, okay. Git add, git commit. Let's see, fix. It works, but needed to switch local LLM for hosted one. All right, there we go. I think that's gonna do it for me. Which language you use? I primarily write things in C# and TypeScript these days. Spiral DJ. But do you have 7 years of experience at Blizzard? Man, people just love to rag on poor Pirate Software. People love to rag on him, man. Mohit, where do you work? I work at a company here in Kansas City, Kansas, named OnSpring Technologies. You can actually find my LinkedIn if you type !LinkedIn. But yeah, I work, and obviously, I'm not here in any work or professional capacity. This is my YouTube channel. My thoughts and opinions are my own and do not reflect those of my employer. Paul Ross said hi. Hello, Paul. Spiral DJ Drama side. I just appreciate you coming across actual dev streams. Oh, well, I appreciate that, man. Spiral DJ. Is the tool going to be on a public repo, or is this private, by the way? No, it's on a public repo. So if you go to my GitHub, you'll see it there. It's the name of it is I just put my GitHub in the chat there. You'll see it under the name Stream Shorts. And that's actually what I was getting ready to do was, let's see, git checkout main. Let's see, let's add a license really quick since the repo is public now. what is it, 20, it's 2025 now? Mohit, don't worry, just asking. Yeah, no, they're like we the company I work for that we build GRC software, so government risk and compliance software. Um, it's like a no code platform. Can I change the format of this? Let's see. Let's see, dash E. Let's see, and then we'll do get checkout that branch. I'll just merge master back into that branch. Oh, get merge main. Oh, I guess I didn't ever get checkout main. Push that up. There we go. Always good to have a license on the repo. Quick, someone fork it before you license it. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. Who even pay who it's I don't I put the license less in the sense that like I'm gonna like enforce it, you know, and more so that people can feel comfortable using it, right? Or they can feel more comfortable forking it or using it, right? Because there's like a clear indication on it. I mean, I'm a 32-year-old dad of two in Kansas. Like I have the money to hire lawyers to enforce a license on one of my public repositories. Our event. I used to live in Kansas City, Missouri. Worked for Russell Stover Chocolates. Love that place. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I know a guy that I never worked with him, but he worked at my last company when I was a food scientist. He worked at the same company as a food scientist, and I think now he works at Russell Stover's as a food scientist. So yeah, you can't beat chocolates. Spiral GJ. I'm not gonna lie, I've been hating GitHub a lot lately. I needed to use the GraphQL API, and I'm realizing how broken it is. Yeah, GraphQL is just. I mean, yeah, GraphQL is just a whole. That's a whole thing, right? I mean, you make REST requests and you always get back at 200 even when there's an error. I mean, I definitely understand the problem GraphQL was designed to solve, right? But it's definitely an oddity. Hello, Syed. Hello, Dixon. Hope you guys are doing well. Spiral, yeah, I was just making a joke, but the community honestly operates in good faith. I don't think I've ever seen licenses having ever been needed to be enforced anyways. Yeah, I think you should. Yeah, I think you should try to honor the license. I think it's reassuring to people, right? If they fork your stuff or they do something with their stuff, I think it feels good if they see, oh, there is an MIT license there, right? Or there's a GPL license. I think that's reassuring for people. All right, guys, it's 2:30 a.m. I gotta go to bed. I am normally live, not normally live this late, so but I do try to stream like once a day for an hour or two. So if you do see me live, definitely stop in again. Otherwise, you can, if you want to interact with chat or me, the best place to find us is in my Discord. You're welcome to join. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in a short or a video. Right? Leave a comment. I always try to respond to all my comments. So. Emmy, hello. Emmy, I just joined. How are you? Hello, Emmy. Sorry, I saw you just joined, but I'm headed to bed, man. I gotta be up for work in like 4 or 5 hours, so I'm gonna go catch some Z's, and we'll try to do this again tomorrow. See you, Arvind. Spiral. It's for a project on my internship, and a senior dev told me they tried to do what I was trying to. Decided they have better things to do, and for me to spend time I have left, but not bothering. Well, good luck with the project, Spiral DJ. Wish you the best. Yeah, have a good night, Spiral DJ. For sure, man. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. If it's Wednesday, I hope you have a good rest of your Wednesday. If it's already Thursday for you, which I guess could be a thing because time zones are weird, but if it's already Thursday for you, have a great rest of your Thursday. See you, Blue. All right, guys. Bye, y'all. Bye.